Hi, guys. I hope you're doing really well. I really enjoyed looking at your work this week. I made an answer key if you want to look back and check some of your answers. I was able to use all the answers from students, so that was really, really awesome to see. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? All right, the first slide you had here was about the post-World War II world. And I asked you, how did US goals and Soviet goals differ from World War II? And it's fine if you didn't have exactly this answer, but Estefania, she wrote a really nice response here. So I put it here so you could see and kind of compare what you wrote to what Estefania wrote and see how complete your answer was. So she said US goals and Soviet goals after World War II differ in that the United States suffered few casualties and was the richest nation in the world. She also wanted to create new markets for its goods and encourage democracy. All of those things are totally true. That was a really great answer. Definitely in World War II, we barely had any civilian casualties and not nearly as many military casualties. All right, so she continues on right here, and I love how she talks about both parts. While the Soviet Union suffered enormous loss of life and damage to its cities, it wanted to establish communist governments and ensure that it was not attacked again from the West. And this is a great answer. I really appreciated that. And the attack from the West, they were fearful, would come from Germany. So very nice job, Estefania, writing this paragraph. And again, it's okay if you did not have exactly the same, but I thought this was a good example for you. All right, the next paragraph was about Soviet Union corralling Eastern Europe. And Connor, I thought you did a nice job answering this question. You had all your proper nouns capitalized, which was awesome and a good reminder. So the question was, what countries were separated from the West by the Iron Curtain? So Connor wrote a really nice complete sentence. The countries were separated from the West by the Iron Curtain are Albania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Romania, Poland, and Yugoslavia. So very nice job, Connor, helping us out with this second question. All right. The third question, I thought Kobe did a nice job answering this question. It was about the topic about the United States counter to the Soviet expansion. So how did we, when they started to expand, how did we react to that? And this question focused on the Berlin airlift. So Kobe wrote, the United States and Britain flew food and supplies into Berlin for 11 months because the Soviets blockaded the city. And I really liked how Kobe used that nice academic word of blockaded in his answer. So to block the city is to not allow any food or supplies to go in. But I really appreciate how he used that term in his answer. So great job, Kobe. And again, everyone's answers vary just a little bit. They don't all have to be exactly the same, but I wanted to use some student examples to show you guys things that I thought were really awesome. All right, here's going on to the vocab words. Oh, I lied. One more paragraph. I'm sorry. I think this is the last one. Cold War and a divided world. So, Stefania, I pulled your answer again from this. You did a really thorough job responding to these questions. So, the question is, what are three developments or events that increased tension during the Cold War? And Stefania started off by saying that three events that increased tension. So, from the get-go, if I don't know what that question is, I know I can be looking for three things. So I thought that was really awesome. So during the Cold War, both sides produced more and more nuclear weapons and developed new ways to deliver them. Both sides were ready to go to the brink of war. That means almost go to war. Brink is like on the very edge. And then also that the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first man-made satellite, and the Americans felt the Soviets were far ahead in science and technology. Finally, the U-2 incident attracted more attention. The U.S. used planes called U-2, so it's just a number assigned to that plane, and they were spy planes. They spied on Soviet territory. One was shot down in 1970, and the pilots were held for 19 months. That was a very tense time. No one knew what was going to happen in 1960. All right, so again, a very nice, thorough answer, and these answers are coming from your reading, so nice job. All right, we've got some vocabulary words. Martha, I thought you did a nice job with your definition of the United Nations. So, organization established after World War II with the goal of maintaining peace and cooperation in their international community. And I liked that you put the flag of the United Nations on your slide. So, very nice job, Martha. Hyro, I loved your answer, your definition, and your image for the Iron Curtain. So it is an imaginary line that ideologically and politically separates Western from Eastern or Soviet Union after the Second World War. So I want to point out this word ideologically is a fancy word for meaning how people believe different things. How people believe different things. And this picture, this map he used shows us where the Iron Curtain, the imaginary line, it wasn't actually a line, but it was imaginary. Really nice picture. All right, Kobe, I liked your definition. I really liked your image that you chose for containment. So we've got action of keeping something harmful under control or within limits. And this political cartoon is really cool. You know, it's everybody's job to stop communism. You've got the guy with the sword having democracy on the sword. You've got the hammer and sickle, which is a symbol of the Soviet Union. So that was a really cool image. I'm going to use that in the future. It's cool. All right, vocabulary Truman Doctrine. So Hyro, help me out with this definition. It is a measure created by the United States that seeks to support free peoples who are resisting attempts by armed minorities to subjugate. So Truman Doctrine is going to help countries that are trying to avoid being taken over by the communists. And this is a portrait of President Truman. I went too fast. Elijah, I loved your picture here for Marshall Plan. A lot of the definitions were the same, you guys, or very similar. The pictures kind of caught my eye on some of these. So this was an American initiative passed in 1948. And this plan was going to be to give money to countries that wanted to resist communism. So on this map here, you can see that longer the blue line, the more money the country got. So this country, I know they're not labeled, but that's France. It got a lot. This one here is Great Britain. It got a lot. This one up here is Iceland. So it barely got any. So they just either didn't need money, a lot of money, or didn't want it. This one right here is Portugal. So again, it got just a little bit. So it's kind of cool to see the different countries and how much money the United States gave them. So Elijah, thank you so much. All right. Oh, I keep going too fast. All right, Martha, she gave us this great definition for NATO. Again, another flag picture, which was really cool. So organization formed in Washington, D.C. in 1949, comprising the 12 nations of the Atlantic Pact together with Greece, Turkey, and the Federal Republic of Germany for the purpose of collective defense against aggression. And NATO is still around today and still an important alliance. All right, let's see if I can go one. There we go. Warsaw Pact. So Elijah helped me out with this, another really great image. Warsaw Pact was a military treaty and association of Eastern European countries. So NATO is on one side and the Warsaw Pact is on the other. So the Warsaw Pact is going to be supported by the Soviet Union. And I love this image you've got. Actually, this is some letters in the Russian alphabet. Kind of cool. And then here you've got all the flags. And so it's just kind of a really neat image that Elijah found. Okay, we've got brinkmanship. Kobe, I borrowed this from you. I thought this was another cool image, a good definition. So it's a foreign policy used in the Cold War, which is where a country would push a dangerous issue or event to the edge, looking for the best outcome for their side. So that's really nice. And in this image right here, you've got President Eisenhower. So he was president from 1952 to 1960, and he was dealing with all of these issues for sure. So great photograph of President Eisenhower. All right, Elijah helped me out with this one right here. So the U-2 incident, confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union. And he put this plane here. Remember, the U-2 plane was shot down, and then the pilots were held for 19 months. All right, guys, United Nations. Oops, I gave you the same one twice. And of course, you guys are all awesome. You all did the United Nations again and gave me a second picture. I apologize for that. You are wonderful. If that happens in the future, feel free to only do it one time. Sorry about that. All right, and then Connor, I borrowed your answer to the investigative question. I really liked all that you had written, and I thought that was really nice here. So let's just go through it here, and I might point out something that maybe to add. But one cause of the Cold War, there were revolts against the Soviet domination in Eastern Germany. The effect of this was rising spread over Eastern Germany, but the demonstrators could not stand up to the Russian tanks. All right, awesome. So we have a cause and an effect. Okay, another cause of the Cold War is Berlin, Germany. People on the eastern side of Berlin, Germany were tired of the low pay and they were unhappy with the communism, which caused them to flee to Western Berlin. Totally true. That's why they built that Berlin Wall. The effect of, oh, I gave the answer right. Okay, effect of this was the eastern side of Berlin built a wall to stop people from the eastern side fleeing to the western side. So again, nice job with cause and effect. All right, and Connor, the third cause of the Cold War was the arms race that began right after World War II. However, the Soviet Union had also developed nuclear weapons. The effect of this was that the US also manufactured nuclear weapons and the race was on to match each other's nuclear weapons. I really like that phrase. That gave me a good visual of both sides trying to get more and more nuclear weapons. All right, so I wanted to use this example because most kids did this a little different in that they told me 3 causes and then 3 effects, and I thought this was a really nice way of doing it. Either way is fine, but in case you didn't know how to maybe write a paragraph like this where you do a cause and then what the effect is, another cause, another effect, another cause, another effect, I thought it was a good example to share with the whole group so you could get, to see it and see how Connor did this. I thought it was really cool. And everyone else who did it as 3 causes and 3 effects, that is totally fine as well. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what we call organizing your writing. So I thought that was really, really cool way. All right, guys, that's it for now. It went a little long for you. I'm sorry. I hope you weren't bored, but thanks to everyone who gave me great examples to use for this week's answer key. Good luck on week 3. Your work for week 3. If you have questions, please let me know. I am happy to try to help you however I can. You all are doing a really great job, and I am so, so, so proud of you, and I miss you so much. So I hope you are all doing well. All right, I will, I got to do it like this. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.